Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CCISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. External audits are formal, independent evaluations conducted by third parties to assess the effectiveness of an organization's information security program. These audits are typically required for industry certifications, such as ISO 27001, or to demonstrate compliance with regulatory requirements like HIPAA or the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. In many cases, external audits are also used to provide assurance to customers, business partners, or investors. Their purpose is to validate that an organization's controls are functioning as intended, and that policies, processes, and systems align with external frameworks, legal requirements, and contractual commitments. The outcome of an external audit can have significant consequences, ranging from regulatory penalties to loss of business or reputational damage. As such, preparing for these audits is a core responsibility of the Chief Information Security Officer. The CISO acts as a primary sponsor, orchestrating the organization's readiness efforts and ensuring that security functions are capable of standing up to external scrutiny. The CISO plays a multifaceted role in preparing for and managing external audits. First and foremost, the CISO is accountable for ensuring that the security organization is audit-ready at all times. This means maintaining up-to-date documentation, monitoring control operation, and regularly reviewing audit evidence. As the leader of audit readiness efforts, the CISO coordinates the activities of multiple departments to ensure that controls are operating effectively and that evidence can be provided upon request. The CISO also serves as the main liaison between the organization and external auditors. This includes facilitating auditor requests, scheduling access to documentation and systems, and providing explanations for how controls are implemented. Throughout the audit lifecycle, the CISO is responsible for managing communication and ensuring that stakeholders respond in a timely and consistent manner. When the audit is complete, the CISO summarizes the findings, reports results to executive leadership and the board, and initiates any remediation planning that is necessary to address identified gaps. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Preparation is essential to the success of any external audit. One of the most effective ways to prepare is by conducting internal mock audits or readiness assessments in advance. These exercises simulate the external audit experience and help identify gaps in documentation, control implementation, or process adherence. Mock audits allow organizations to address deficiencies before they are detected by auditors. Readiness reviews should focus on validating evidence trails, including logs, configurations, reports, and policy records. These trails must be complete, current, and traceable to control objectives. In addition, organizations should ensure that all findings from previous audits have been resolved and that remediation activities are well documented. Pre-assessment checklists, aligned to the scope of the external audit, are useful for confirming that all required artifacts are available and correctly formatted. These checklists help teams stay organized and prevent last-minute surprises during the actual audit. Defining the scope and logistics of the audit is a collaborative effort between the organization and the external auditor. Scope refers to the boundaries of the audit, such as which systems, departments, processes, or timeframes will be reviewed. It is important to clarify the control frameworks being used, such as ISO 27001 NHR, NST 853, or PCI DSS, as this affects how controls are interpreted and tested. The testing methodology, whether based on sampling, observation, or walkthroughs, should also be discussed early. The CISO must ensure that interviews, data access sessions, and control walkthroughs are scheduled and that documentation portals are prepared and secured. These portals should be well organized and contain only approved, relevant materials. Finally, all key stakeholders must be briefed and made available for clarification in interviews. These stakeholders may include system owners, compliance officers, legal advisors, or department heads, depending on the audit scope. External auditors typically request a wide range of documentation and evidence. This includes formal policies and procedures that define the organization's security program, as well as control design documents that explain how controls are implemented. Evidence of implementation is critical. This may consist of logs showing system activity, screenshots of configuration settings, automated test results, or operational reports. Risk assessments, incident response plans, and business continuity documentation may also be reviewed. Training records demonstrate that staff have received and understood their security responsibilities. Control ownership assignments ensure accountability for each area of the security program. Previous audit reports and documented responses to findings are also often requested to confirm continuous improvement. All evidence must be current, accurate, and presented in formats that auditors can accept and verify. Stakeholder engagement is a major success factor in audit preparation. Departments such as IT, legal, and HR must be briefed on what to expect during the audit and how to respond to auditor inquiries. Each control domain should have a designated owner or subject matter expert who can speak to its implementation and provide supporting documentation. Protocols must be established for answering auditor questions. These protocols should include guidance on what information to provide, how to refer to documentation, and when to escalate unclear or complex questions. All communication with auditors must be consistent and professional. This includes tone, content, and level of detail. Staff should be reminded to maintain confidentiality, ensure accuracy in their responses, and avoid speculation. Transparency is valued, but it must be grounded in evidence and aligned with the control documentation already submitted. Whether the audit is conducted on-site or remotely, the CISO must manage its execution carefully. Auditors must be provided with guided access to the systems and documentation included in the audit scope. Requests for additional evidence or clarification should be responded to promptly and accurately. The audit team must track all interactions and submissions using a secure and auditable process. Any unexpected issues, such as scope changes, access delays, or stakeholder absences, must be escalated internally and addressed without delay. Continuous monitoring of audit progress allows the organization to anticipate concerns, clarify misunderstandings, and avoid last-minute escalations. Daily briefings or internal status meetings during the audit help maintain focus and coordination among involved teams. Throughout the process, the CISO must balance responsiveness with oversight to ensure that the audit remains productive and aligned with the organization's goals. Real-time communication with auditors is a critical part of managing findings and clarifications. It is common for auditors to offer preliminary observations or request additional documentation during the audit. The CISO and audit team must be prepared to respond constructively. Providing context for controls, offering additional explanations, or supplying supplementary evidence can resolve many issues on the spot. It is important not to be defensive or adversarial during these exchanges. The goal is to ensure accurate understanding, not to challenge the auditor's perspective. If a control appears to have failed or been misunderstood, clarifying the control's objective, scope, or implementation method can often resolve the issue. In some cases, informal remediation planning can begin even before the final report is issued, allowing the organization to take quick action on confirmed gaps. Once the audit is complete, the CISO must review the final report carefully. All findings should be validated to confirm that they are factually accurate and clearly explained. The CISO then assigns remediation tasks with defined timelines and accountability. Progress toward closure must be tracked and reported regularly. Audit results must be communicated to executive leadership and the board, with emphasis on strategic implications, risk exposure, and planned corrective actions. The organization's risk register should be updated to reflect new findings and remediation plans. Compliance strategies may also need to be revised in response to audit feedback. Lessons learned from the audit should be captured and used to enhance future readiness. These insights may inform changes in documentation, control implementation, training programs, or stakeholder engagement strategies. Effective post-audit processes ensure that the organization moves from audit results to real-world improvement. The CCISO's exam includes several topics related to external audits. Scenario-based questions may focus on preparing for certification assessments, responding to auditor questions, or managing audit logistics. Candidates must understand the types of evidence that auditors expect, the documentation required for certification, and the organizational roles involved. Key terms such as scope, walkthrough, sampling, assertion, and deficiency may appear in exam questions. The exam tests the CISO's ability to provide executive oversight of audit activities and ensure alignment with risk management, governance, and compliance programs. Candidates must also demonstrate understanding of how external audits fit into the broader context of stakeholder assurance and continuous improvement. Effective preparation for this domain shows that a candidate is ready to lead complex security programs through external scrutiny and deliver confidence to regulators, partners, and leadership. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.